Great. So how's everybody doing? And hopefully testing is going well, or did well, or the kids did well in testing, I should say. Basically, we are preparing for the actual integrated worksite prototype testing, and the idea is to use the existing test beds that we have, the kiddie pool that has the sand and the kiddie pool that has the water. In addition to that, then we are always going to be encouraging them to actually create their own test beds. And then there's an offering that we just kind of solidified with the rec center to actually use their pool. And so with that, comes a few restrictions. Maybe it's a good time to just kind of open the discussion after I actually, kind of like read to you what they expect. If none of you had a chance to look at, the Friday slides that we posted in the development site, let me just pull that up real quick here so everybody has a point of reference. Hi, Robin. How are you doing?
Good.
Well,
Getting approved. Well, he changed the certificates.
He needed something in it. Okay. Look at me trying to like multitask. I paid the thing, by the way. The truck.
Thank you.
Yep.
And he likes all that stuff.
Super. So are we here yet? Yes. So we're in week 12, and then I'm going to pull up day 2 slides that we prepared. At any time you need to kind of like talk or interrupt, just let me know, because we have like a loose agenda today. It's not too tight. In the meantime, while this is pulling up, Robin, did you have an announcement?
Oh, I was thinking that maybe we could add, I think it's the week of April 18th, to just add a note on one of the slides to encourage the students to go through the senior design trade show. Because I thought that might be a nice thing for them to be able to see, what they should be looking forward to and what kind of elements they're doing here that kind of scaffold up into senior design.
I always forget to do that. Thank you so much, Robin.
Sure, I think it's the 21st, but it's that week, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe just to add that in to let them know that they're going to have to do this multiple times, work in teams, develop products, all that sort of stuff. So
Things
to get
that
used to it.
for them to aspire to do, basically.
Right, and then, there's some really cool projects that they'll eventually be doing that are much more intensive than what they currently have on their plate.
Yeah.
And what would be really cool if I can reach out and find out the senior design presentations and more the other.
That'd be nice.
Oh, that's true.
CECS people.
Oh, that'd be great.
I'll send that out.
Yeah. That's really true, because we're in close connection with CCS, but nonetheless, all of the colleges actually have a type of senior design.
Yeah, so just to be able
trade
to let them, wander through and see the professional dress, how they are to convey the message, all that sort of stuff.
Right. So with the caveat that, thank you so much, Robin. And Leslie just left, but she was, left for a little bit, but she was saying that she'll gather information from other colleges and when they're doing their design trade show, and so that, for students that maybe are not from this college, from CCS, they can experience or they can actually visualize what they look forward to in their senior year. So that's a great idea. Are you going to be judging?
No.
Okay.
No. But I thought
Oh, you judging?
it was interesting, so I
Yeah.
think they would find it interesting.
Definitely, yeah. Okay, so we actually made a couple slides for day 2, which is tomorrow, Friday, about the final concept validation, which takes place the week of April 18th. So, and I did have additional information other than what we have here to confirm. This morning I spoke with the associate director, and they said, all's well. And to back up a little bit, we did mention in the slide specifically that, we are going to still have the existing EPICS test beds that are going to be outside.
Because those are working sufficiently, would you say?
Yeah, for some that, don't need anything extravagant, if you will. And then the second part is actually for them to actually make their own test beds. And like the third, which we can talk a little bit more in depth right now, is using the campus pool. But I don't know if you've noticed, and I can just open this for discussion for about 5 or so minutes, is that very few of them came with a solid test plan. And so they kind of like had to change on the spot and everything like that during these tests, meaning whenever they did their subsystem tests. So hopefully on the final round in the integrated worksite prototype, they'll have a better way of approaching their tests. So by assisting them there is one thing, but if they had planned everything in the beginning, that would be much, much better. So they learn from their mistakes, hopefully. And I kind of like dinged them on all of that. Even though they did have some test plans that are pretty well laid out, sometimes they didn't even follow it. So at any rate, that's my personal experience. I don't know if anybody would like to share or had anything else to do with that or anything else from our subsystems testing. Okay. Nothing that stood out on your end?
Similar experience with you. My fault for not being harsher.
So basically, to use the rec center pool, all equipment must be disinfected before entering the pool. And so I had a conversation, like I said, with Margie, the associate director, and what she actually said, it's everything. So everything except for persons that come in the pool needs to be disinfected. And so the disinfection is going to happen actually at the pool. So they will prop open like the emergency exit, and they will kind of like, have a hose set up so we can hose whatever is down, whatever is needed. But the thing is, hopefully by April 18th, we're not going to have any snow anymore. But she assured me that this is kind of like common practice, that they've done it before with a concrete canoe. So there shouldn't be any big issues other than, well, like I said, everything has to be disinfected, including, like, say, if we were to introduce plastics or debris in the pool, that has to be disinfected too. Second part is they will have a lifeguard there present. And so in any case that the students need to get into the pool, I'm not sure if we would allow that to happen, but we need to make like strict rules about like when and if a student can actually get into the pool with their prototype. Okay, and so by that then we're gonna come to scheduling here soon, but I also then would like, and my suggestion would be for a couple of us, not a couple, but one person or one mentor at a time to be at the time of testing, and not just the lifeguard himself or herself, because they are saying like in an emergency situation, obviously they will be needing, more than one lifeguard. Well, not necessarily saying that we're lifeguards, but you know what I mean. In an emergency situation, there has to be at least two people that are going to be acting as someone that could help. But should we talk about that first? Should we talk about whether or not we want to decide for people to actually get into the pool? Is that allowed?
Well, I think that's part of the application thing. Like, didn't we say, if you want to use the pool, explain how you're going to use it, how you're going to manage the risks, how you're going to,
Okay.
and when you want to use it and how many times.
Okay.
I
So,
don't know. I can't imagine if students would actually get suits on and go in the pool, but maybe they would.
I bet you there would be some that would. Um,
oh, I know someone.
we've got a lot of swimmers.
There are a lot of swimmers. I mean, that's probably fine.
Yeah.
I think that the biggest issue is they have to provide proof
Mhm.
that all of their electronics are waterproof before they can go
Yes.
even up there. Because there's no reason to disinfect something that is not waterproof
That's,
or that somebody's going to put in there.
So, and
If they have
Somewhere you
that.
have to make sure that you've managed all the risks before you can put it into the pool.
so I had a team that wanted an extension cord and run something to the baby pool. I was like, what are you doing? But it was a water thing. It was a mixer, and mixers are meant for water. And I was like, okay, you're not going to drop that sucker in there, right? And they promised and stuff. And I don't know,
To
should I
create
have let them
current.
do it? Because they were generating a current to see what would happen when they pushed the plastics through something. And I look back at that, I'm like, maybe that was a bad idea. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, if we're doing a current, you could probably do it at different ways that don't require the electronics.
Mhm.
Yeah. But generally, I mean, it's kind of like the adage of you wouldn't put a hairdryer over your bathtub.
Right.
You generally don't want to put,
A corded device over a pool of water.
right, that's just not, and I can't imagine anybody at the pool would find that acceptable. Because
Yeah.
one, you can't have power cords there.
Good.
Um,
Yeah, perfect. And I think we put that on the rules.
Yes,
Absolutely
we did.
no plug-in, wall cord. But everything else that's battery powered, then yeah, they're going to blow up their prototype,
Yeah,
but it's not dangerous
well,
anymore.
and that's why you wouldn't necessarily want somebody in there, in the
Oh.
water wall, because I don't know that they can preclude people swimming at the same time.
Yes,
or I
they
don't
can.
know if
They
there's a
have to.
person in there.
No, they're not. There's not going to be anybody else but us.
Yeah, but it would just be, it's kind of one of those risk and mitigation things that before you go to test something in an area that you could cause harm, you should make sure that it won't cause harm.
And how do we test that? And you can inspect it visually and see if it looks watertight, waterproof, but then it actually needs to be tested
Yeah, you can put it underwater.
and just then see,
Yeah, and see if you get any water leakage through the system.
and then open it up.
I mean, can you put it in the water at the office, the little
Yeah.
swimming pool, to see if water leaks through, and then allow them to go up to the pool?
Yeah, or there's even there's a sink downstairs too. If I don't know how big these things are, but somewhere they have to provide, because you can see if there's a gasket there, and you can see, because presumably they still have an ability to change the battery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they should have a sealed system.
And are there battery-powered devices that could actually cause injury by shorting out in a pool?
Only to the extent I think that somebody is physically holding it.
And
or-
grounding it somewhere?
Yeah.
Grounding it.
Yeah.
So as long
But
as
it could actually, you're saying that these little, maybe lithium-ion batteries could give you a bit of a
yeah,
jolt.
it's certainly not life-threatening.
Yeah.
But they should consider that as opposed, because we were talking about risk this
Mhm.
week. They should have a mitigation plan for
Mhm.
how they address it.
Yeah.
They shouldn't just assume you can do anything.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I don't know what that level is, but it would seem prudent.
Mm-hmm. So, on that note, you did mention about like size, Robin. Should we limit the size? That's the other question. Dimension.
Well, if we want them all to test them, then they need to be able to fit in this pool, and I think our limits were 3 feet. So I don't mind saying that prototypes should be less than 3 feet. But I mean, how are they going to get it in there and get it out anyway if it's bigger than that?
Well, if the concrete canoe can get in, then this
And
will definitely. Can
I guess it's the question around, what are you actually trying to prototype? What's the intent?
Mhm.
And, because otherwise you go over the $100. This isn't to build a full-scale
This is true.
simulation. So you don't have to build something that's 10 feet to be able to prove your design.
Mm-hmm.
So it's,
Yeah. What is your design intent?
yeah, what is the design intent?
And what
'cause you
you'd
certainly
like to
wouldn't
test.
bring something like that into a boardroom to say, could you please invest in this 10-foot thing?
Mm-hmm. Of course not.
But I put that out to the group to say what makes more sense.
Here comes Joseph. So I'm just thinking about like all these kids that go big or go home with all those, like what you were saying, you know.
Well, 'cause
But-
Alina made the comment for the, I guess it was the NHV combined course
Mhm.
where, one team was building like this 5-foot.
Mhm.
One year you're using charcoal, so now you have a waste
Mhm.
material that you don't have to deal with as far as disposal. You're spending more money. You don't need to do all of those things in order to build your design.
Sure.
So what do you actually have to, how big do you actually have to build your design?
We're just talking about size, scaling, and whether or not that's important or. Obviously, the mentor has to kind of like guide, what is exactly they're trying to do, improve. Okay,
Guys, can you talk a little closer to the speaker?
sorry. Okay. So then the next thing there listed as far as the rules is considered is there's no risk of damaging plaster or tile in the floor. What that means is Margie clarified that some systems are like saying having these anchors, coming out of their devices. Now, when you drop those anchors, they would like for at least a lifeguard to actually place them down below. And there's a way to actually place things onto the bottom of the pool without having to crack the tiles or anything like that. I mean, it's nothing like they haven't done it before, but if your students actually then want that or would like that to be part of their testing, then it is very prudent for the lifeguard to actually do that and be part of that. Are we working okay as far as that is concerned? Okay, good. So that's the only other thing that she mentioned and was very, very repetitive about that. So I would imagine that, there's any damage to that, it's very hard to repair. And so, and maybe offline, Leslie, you and I can talk about whether or not we are going to then have contribution to like time for the lifeguard to be there.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Don't worry,
Yeah.
I'll figure that out.
Definitely.
To not have them have any out-of-pocket expenses.
Right. So, but then we can go into scheduling, because I know here it doesn't really mention exactly what off hours are, but the ones that are, or the times that are available that week of April 18th, is Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. every day. And then Tuesday and Thursday, in addition, obviously, Tuesdays and Thursdays, we have 8:30 to 11 a.m. And on Friday, only Friday, there's 6 to 11 a.m. So that was Monday to Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. every day. Tuesday and Thursday, 8:30 to 11 a.m. And then on Friday, 6 to 11 a.m.
Be open times.
For week of April 18th. Yes, and those are open times. And to Robin's concerns, there will be no more, none other swimmers. So it's just like off hours. Now the question is, are we needing all those times, do you think?
No.
No.
Like, Robin, how many student teams do you think your classes might, how many teams would apply, do you think?
Maximum of 2 per section.
Oh, that's actually quite a bit.
And that would be a maximum. There's
Yeah.
only one that probably really, maybe 2, just because they went to the 3-foot. The other ones are either shoreline or smaller that I think can easily approve it out here, and I don't think if you don't have to go up there, I would encourage them not to.
Exactly. And how about you? Do you think you would
Say
have a
1 to 2 per section, probably not 2 per section.
one? And that's what I'm thinking. And that would mean,
I've got 3 in my section.
what's contained?
Excuse me?
She said
This
she
is
had,
Kim. I have 3 in my section.
Okay. I bet, okay, so, and 3, that's 60%. So, but I bet we would have maybe 30 to 40 teams max who went to teams.
Sure.
And that doesn't require all those times, but let's leave it up to them to propose when they want to be there. My guess is no one's going to want to be there at 6 a.m. You'll find out.
Yeah, so Margie would like to have the schedule like buttoned up real soon. And so,
So I think we didn't ask for applications until Wednesday night, and then we have to consolidate that. So we're not going to have any scheduling done until Thursday. So if you need the deadline quicker, then we might need to send an email out to all students rather than wait for the teachers to explain it and all that, so that we can get applications in by Sunday night, and then we can make the decisions on Monday and send that to Margie.
yeah,
Does that sound okay to you all? If we just send an email to the whole program, to all the students saying, hey, we have the opportunity to use the pool. These are the rules. If you want to do it, send an application to your professor with these items by Sunday night at 12 a.m. Or should we just have us think all the applications can go to Catherine?
I'd like
then we want the
No.
professor
to go to, yeah, because some might say
Too much.
yes, and I don't think all of them need to.
Yeah, and then what we need to know is we need to get all the professors to give them to us as soon as they possibly can on Monday.
you know, the problem with this is like right now, I think they're concentrated on doing the subsystems. I don't even know if they would have time to actually think about creating the test plans, let alone.
They will not have their testing protocols because they are focused.
How about we do this? Yeah, how about I tell Margie that, you know, can we hold these spots for, you know, at least these few days, and then we will have a more definitive answer, maybe like what you're saying. What was the original plan, like next Wednesday, right?
Well, you know, what
Tuesday?
if we hold the 1 to 3s and let go of the mornings, let go of the other ones?
You
and
sure?
Just say, and then, you know, if you want to do it, because like, Kim, would you make them do this during your class time? I mean, you can't, because you're going to be doing stuff with other students.
Was
So
it
we can't be in the
testing?
swimming pool in our classroom at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
So I wonder if we should,
Is there a way to maybe do the 1 to 3, Monday through Friday, and then the 6 to 11, or
8:30
6 to 11 on Friday?
yeah,
Because everybody's got their Friday,
yeah.
and that might catch.
Sure, much or
Yeah.
more.
Yeah,
And maybe it's 7 to 11 on.
yeah, nobody's
Sure,
gonna be
nobody.
so-
But we might get some 7 o'clocks.
Yeah.
Or let's think about the most probable scenario. Like, it would probably be more like 8 to 11.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
yeah. The 8 a.m.ers have a tough time getting to 8 a.m.
Mhm.
I was just commenting on it too.
What?
I was missing 14 people from 2 sections
14.
Wow.
Wow,
out of 50.
wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, they don't know how to do assemblies, I guess. So,
And then one more thing is, do we even want Monday? Would anybody even be ready on Monday? Well, they probably would because there are classes on Monday,
Yeah, it's April 18th anyway.
which is only 10 days away. Yeah.
Sure.
I can't imagine not to be ready on Monday.
10 days is
They should be ready on Monday. I mean, that was when the due date for the final prototype was.
That's correct. They integrated.
Okay, so let's limit the hours for Margie. And what are we excluding then? There was Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Tuesday and Thursday, 8:30 to 11,
Yeah, let's
and
exclude
6
those.
to 8.
and 6 to 8 on Friday. So instead,
AM.
a.m. On Friday, it was available from 6, right? So we're eliminating that. Instead, we'll just say 8 to 11, because I'm not going to be there at 6 o'clock. And then 1 to 3, Monday through Friday.
Good, okay. Does that sound good?
Cuts it down.
Yeah.
Can you go over that again?
So
What the times are?
yeah, the decision is Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. And then that Friday, we'll do 8 to 11 in addition. Okay. So, but other than
And then
that,
do we still want to have Catherine send a note out to all the students, say, here's the dealing, if you want to do it, send your application to to your mentor by, maybe give them an extra day. Monday at midnight?
I don't know.
Guys, I have another question. So if they have a class on 1 to 3, Monday through Friday, they're not going to be able to make that time and say they're booked up on Friday too. Would it be beneficial to include the Tuesday, Thursday time?
It's gonna have to be some other team member. It's probably not gonna be the whole team doing it.
Yeah, that's a good point. So maybe not, it doesn't have to be everyone there, basically.
You're the sort of 8 to 11.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm trying to minimize how burdensome this is to the pool so they don't cancel it on Monday and leave us disappointed. So let's, because they can always do Friday morning if they can't do it.
Okay.
So,
So we'll still send an email out to all the students and say, apply to your mentor by, and we'll give it until Monday night. So it gives them, like, they're submitting their subsystems Friday, so that gives them the weekend and one day to pull it together. And it should be fairly simple, and just a couple, a paragraph about this is how we're going to handle the risk. It does actually, they need to plan for it though. So,
yeah, the original date was April 13th, but I understand your concern.
because then we can't get back to March. March we did, right? Anyway, we'll talk about it. Okay, so we'll default to it.
Yeah, for Marjorie right now, what I'm going to say is we're going to hold these hours, 1 to 3 and then 8 to 11. I think that would be.
Yeah, okay, good. What I'd like to be able to tell her before Monday at 1 to 3 is that nobody's coming.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and if we ask for the applications on Wednesday, we won't be able to say that. Get that information in time to say cancel Monday 1 to 3 and cancel Friday 1 to 3 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's scheduling lifeguards and stuff.
Right. This is true.
Okay, cool. So we got it. All right.
Alrighty. Leslie, do you have the time or inclination to go over week 13? Because I remember that you actually created those slides.
Okay.
Okay, I'll pull it up for you, okay? Yeah. And then in addition, actually, is it under a Y then? The week 13 slides?
But I remind me of what we had talked about.
The marketing one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you reduced it some.
Yeah. But I don't think we've actually done much for it. Maybe suffice it to say in week 13, we're going to be doing 2 more topics, which is marketing and how do you put
That's basically it.
And then in the audience, that kind of stuff. Who's going to be here? Why is it a technical poster session? That kind of stuff. And then a teamwork stuff from Robin Steele, which is, I'm trying to remember. It's advocacy versus inquiry. And it's basically how to approach problems with a curious mindset and not be overbearing or overly quiet.
Mm-hmm.
How do you balance sort of active participation to understand what you need to?
Yeah.
Okay, and so those will be posted early next week.
Yeah.
And I think that's our last
That's our last formal one.
PowerPoint.
Yeah.
And then we'll be including information about the team competitions and the final competition.
Basically it. Yeah. That's basically it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like promised, it was not so much to cover today, other than kind of going over those testing protocols and everything like that. And so, Catherine, you're going to go ahead and send a general email to the students.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll talk to you about that.
All right.
And it's also time to start recruiting judges for the in-class competitions.
That's true.
We'll tap into the same folks that we always have, and I may include my neighbors because they've all been very interested as I've been collecting trash, and they've been collecting trash with me. And I think we'll aim for having 2 external judges for each 2-hour slot.
Do we need more?
Sorry?
Do we need more?
We always need more because 3 would be better than 2.
I can ask my friend again.
Yeah, good.
I got a 1 out of 3 response rate, so I asked 3 engineers that I know in town.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And actually,
that's about right.
Now I know 4 though, outside of school.
I'm not convinced that you have to be an engineer for this. You have to be a methodical enough or analytical enough mind to think,
Okay.
to kind of run a rubric and all that kind of stuff
Sure.
and make that call. But yeah. So I mean, somebody who's very interested in the topic might be fine too. I think we did learn last semester that a little bit of an analytical mind is helpful.
That's my,
That was not your fault.
She came back.
she did?
She did. She visited the other day.
Oh, I wasn't here for that.
I know.
Lucky you.
She made comments about my wardrobe. Yeah.
Okay.
Looked like a-
Now we're
Hey,
just making fun.
Guys, I have a question about the pool again. Sorry, this is Kim.
Okay, we still have time.
So if our students are testing in the pool, do I need to be there with them?
You need Amy.
I would like.
And so, and maybe what we do is we say, I'll take Monday, somebody else takes Wednesday, and maybe we just divide on.
Oh gosh, you guys, I can't hear you.
Okay, so it doesn't necessarily have to be you. So
Okay.
how about I do this? How about I create like a doodle poll to see like who can do which times? And so at least there's a mentor there for an hour or so.
But it wouldn't preclude you as the mentor going and attending and watching.
Of course, yeah, most definitely,
Right.
most definitely.
So a question for the mentors, all of them. If you've got a student that you're not going to be there to watch their demo, are you going to have them videotape it? Because there's no way for you to grade it because
Yeah.
you're not there if you don't see it.
Absolutely. They have got to convince you that you did they did a really good job.
It's going to be graded. Good point, Kim.
So I might end up just going to my students.
Well, I think that's the
I can
best
watch
possible scenario, but I think sometimes it's going to be impossible.
Right. Okay.
Because I mean, again,
Okay, thanks.
how do you do that in the pool and here at the same time if it happens to
Be at the same
correspond?
time.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Luckily for me, that's not a problem.
Yeah.
So any other?
I have a question about the pool too, since we are on the same topic. This is Alina. So some of the teams are testing microbits, right? And how we are going to deal with this in the pool if they want to test there?
Good point. Absolutely no microplastics. We'll have to say nothing less than bottle cap.
Because I don't think the pool people will be happy to have glitter all over the pool.
Well, and there's some of those plastics that sink.
Yeah, and that's a big issue. If I haven't stressed that enough, she was really freaking out about things that are just end up down on the bottom of the
So
pool.
maybe what we do is
So-
we say,
And they might end up, because some of those plastics that they were testing, some of them were testing like caps and small, the creamer containers or something really small that, I mean, in the end comes like, do we retrieve everything? How many do we put in water and so on? So I think with the big plastics, I'm not worried at all. But with the smaller ones, it's going to be a
or we can
matter of just how do we coordinate that?
Yeah, or just do absolutely floating things like water bottles with the cap still on them.
Yes.
And ping pong balls.
Okay.
Too restrictive, do you think?
And I'm going to guess that they do not want things like sticks and things in there.
Oh,
Toss organic material.
Or fish? How about fish? Just a few.
go fish.
So, yeah, it may have to be this is what you have. And that way it'll be clean. It'll also.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I
And-
like that idea.
That way really drives the design intense. Like if that's all that you're doing, are you needing really to go to the swim pool, or the swimming pool to do that?
So let's put that in the
So-
rules. You will only have, the plastics you'll be able to deal with are ping pong balls and the standard water bottles that are empty, and will have their caps on. Those will be the two things to practice on.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a third thing?
So are we providing those for the testing?
Yes, we'll
Yes.
have a bag of ping pong balls and a bag of water
Did you
bottles.
say bottle caps already?
No, because some of them sink.
Oh, I thought the 2-liter ones were almost standard and floated. No?
So it's probably, because the ping pong balls probably get close enough to that
Yeah.
size. So,
Yeah, that's close enough approximation.
yeah. If they're that good, they're probably in good shape.
I'm trying to think if there's anything smaller we could use to approximate that would never in a million years sink. We have rubber jellyfish.
I mean,
What
we
are
need
our
to find another.
assets?
We need to find another application for the rubber jellyfish.
Okay, that was awesome. Thank you, Alina. And so, can you help us get a kit together of sterilized? We'll probably need to buy some bleach.
Oh,
Sterilized
bleach for sure.
ping
Sorry.
pong balls and sterilized empty water bottles that don't have labels attached anymore. Conversation.
So, will they provide us the disinfection materials, or they let us disinfect everything
Yeah.
however we want? Or
Right. Good question, Alina. There's actually, I asked if there's like specific instructions for that. And they said, just follow the bottle, follow the rules on the bottle, whatever that means.
And they should,
well, what are the rules? I mean, it's
because you
I don't know.
with some of the paints that people are using, it actually creates a sheen out in the pool. So they shouldn't spray paint their whatever's floating, because it will.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. Any type of leakage or.
Yeah, stuff will come off, and then depending on the type of styrofoam, they'll actually end up breaking it apart. And they just have to have a secure thing so that they're not introducing stuff.
Okay, so we'll just make that rules list a bit longer, which is fine.
Yeah, just because I noticed that the first day of testing was a lot of the spray painted stuff was having a nice sheen on the water after they had completed
Yeah,
testing.
gross, right. So we can say no painted finishes, or no recently painted, or no painted finishes, basically. It means, I mean, it's okay if something that was industrially painted is fine, but something that they painted themselves. So
It's
we say
probably
no
gonna
spray
come off.
painted surfaces, maybe is the way.
Yeah, I mean, they can always paint it afterwards to make it look pretty.
Yeah.
But
Or you just tell the pool people we're giving them a surfactant so they don't have as much evaporation loss.
This is true.
oh, sure.
That can happen too.
Toxic surfactant.
Mhm.
Just imagining swimming laps of that afterwards.
This is filmed in my forehead.
Why am I? My skin is changing color. So I had a question about salinity the other day from students and whether or not, they should replicate that. And I was like, so why would you replicate that if it has nothing to do with your design? So, well, yes, this is true. But what I'm saying is just like, does it cause or does it enhance any functionality of your design or anything like that? Will it affect it one way or the other? Well, we really wouldn't know, Myrna, if we haven't tried. And so, but anyway, should we do that? Should we introduce that in our kiddie pool? Obviously not the big pool.
I don't think it's going to have much of an impact unless they're going to do long-term salinity testing to see if components like corrode
This
and
is
break
true.
down over time, which they're not going to be able to leave in the kiddie pool for that long anyway.
So you wouldn't know the long-lasting effect on the
They
device
can do
anyway.
that via research.
They can just, and that's what they're supposed to do.
And it wouldn't have anything different for the electronics either, right? It wouldn't interfere.
It should be waterproof. So.
It should be
Yeah.
waterproof.
Yeah.
So,
It might leave after you take it out, it might precipitate after the water dries.
mhm.
Leave salt spots.
And just
But other than that,
and by the rule of the law, you're not supposed to discharge salt water.
no, true. Not that I know that, but thank you. Because remember you talked about how was it in your dissertation or research you had something like that you
Yeah.
can actually create,
You can create
Yeah.
salt water and
Salt
you have
water.
to dispose of it separately because it's
right?
not allowed to go to your standard.
Yeah, we don't really want to get in trouble on this campus.
So who's going to be there on day one with the pool?
You mean Monday, 1 to 3?
Yeah, so we're just going to pump some of the sterilized garbage into your beautiful pool. Let's be the first person to do that.
I can volunteer for the 18th, 1 to 3.
You're such a trooper.
But yeah, it'll be okay. We're disinfecting it though. Look. Oh, solo cups. No, let's not do that. That's too big.
Well, they sing.
And yeah,
So I've sent a note to a bunch of chemistry, physics, and about 3 others, petroleum, to see if they have senior poster sessions to invite the students to. Is there anybody else that just stands out that we should think about? We have the CCS one totally covered.
Mhm.
And then chem, PE, geology, physics is what I've asked.
My,
does
mining-
ComSci do anything or mining?
I don't know if mining does it. I don't know.
Don't either.
Does math do anything?
I don't know, but anything that, if you all think of something that would be, like, if it gets enough students that they might be interested. Mining might appreciate being asked.
Yeah.
Did we say geophysics at all?
Yeah, it's just a small program that I was wondering if it's worth it, but I could ask. Be interesting stuff, actually. It might encourage more people to apply there. Yes, I'll ask Paul. Actually, would you mind calling the program administrators in geophysics and in mining to see? And I'll forward you how I've articulated this. Is there a senior design exhibit that's publicly accessible? They might be having presentations behind closed doors, but.
Okay.
And just give them a call, because email is evidently quite slow.
Okay, so for the next steps, I'm gonna go ahead and send out like a doodle poll for scheduling mentors to be over there meaning the pool. Maybe 1 hour at a time or so, as much as you can. Then we will add to the rules, absolutely no microplastics and the type of plastics that we will actually then provide. I will try as much as I can come up with a disinfection procedure, and so that everybody kind of like follows that. We did mention as well no painted finishes on their prototype,
No student painted.
and yeah, absolutely. If there are electronics, they have to be waterproof
And proven to be waterproof.
and proven to be waterproof.
Like proven to the mentor to be waterproof. Yeah.
So with that proof, then we should say, okay, well, we should be able to say, okay. And then there could be like the test or the water or the sink downstairs that we can use for that, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
depending on the size of.
The prototype,
Oh,
because
the
otherwise it's
prototype.
going to be the kiddie pool. Yeah.
Right.
Would you want to create like a similar guideline sheet for testing on your own? Like it's not something you would monitor, but if students are testing on their own, they should watch out for these things.
That's a good idea.
Sure. Yeah.
So then it's documented that.
Some students went down to the creek
Oh,
to
I
use
see
the
what you're
flow of the
saying.
creek, for example,
Yeah.
Yeah.
to see if it was going to power their device. It's flow power.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
would need to know that
And you want things to be waterproof for
before.
testing.
Yeah, and you
outside
And you bring up a good point, the fact that we've actually covered that and told them when they actually do that. And they say,
Mhm.
well, wait a minute, we
And
gave you
you've
that
done it all,
document.
you can.
Yeah, okay. This is true. All right. And so we will send out that email soon, and we'll expect students to give us test plans by Monday night. Anything else anybody wants to add or questions? Okay. I pulled up the week 13 slides, but like you said, you pretty much actually summarized it. Okay.
I haven't touched them yet.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful
Bye.
day. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.